It's another Marvel Monday. Hello, everyone. Today we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, and honestly, from the ones that we've talked about so far, this one feels different, and let me tell you why. So, I have seen this one. This was on the list of Marvel movies that I had already seen, but even more than that, I retained a lot of it because, I had seen Avengers, the original Avengers before, but I didn't remember any of it. But this one, I did remember a good amount. I don't think I saw it more than just the one time, but it stuck with me. So it was still interesting to see it again. I definitely felt differently about it. I think the first time I saw it in the theater, I remember really, really, really enjoying it. And this time around, it was good. It was good. I wasn't as into it as I was the first time. I don't know I think part of that came from just how much of a lightning storm Winter Soldier was, that when we got to this movie, I was like, oh, I kind of want to see the gang and the Shield and those people. So, I mean, I do understand that this is a totally different thing. And at least as of now, I think maybe later they might intersect. But, yeah, so I don't know. It was a weird experience to watch it, but it certainly wasn't bad. I think also, I don't know, I'm not the hugest Chris Pratt fan, whatever, I don't know. But there was a lot of good to this movie, so let's talk about that. The music, I think, in this film, it's one of those movies where the music is really its own character, and I think that holds up so well. It doesn't seem gimmicky to me. I still really like it. I like that it is not only just the soundtrack, but it's part of Peter Quill's life, and it's such a big part of his story. That really holds up for me. I enjoyed that a lot. I really, really like Zoe Saldana in this movie. I think the character of Gamora is super interesting. Really cool. I did not know that she was Thanos's adopted daughter. I do not remember that at all from my first time watching this movie. So that was when she said that, I was like, wait, what? Because I think at the time, because I hadn't seen any of these movies really, except for one or two, I didn't know who Thanos was. So that was cool to have that context, and to hear her say that, I was like, oh, wow. By the way, I'm working on this page on the left, but you can see on the right, that was my collage page that I did, which you'll see it again in the flip through. But anyway, just in case you're looking at that right now. So yeah, so that was cool. I do also really like her relationship with her sister, Nebula. I feel like it reminds me of Loki and Thor a little bit, except I feel like it's almost like Nebula's a little too far gone, or she's just at this point not interested in any type of redemption. I don't know. It's interesting though, that sibling dynamic between the two of them, and how it reminded me of Thor and Loki. I also really, really liked Drax on this on this rewatch. I think Dave Bautista does a really amazing job as that character. It's that type of comic relief that I love, where it's almost feels unintentional, the character doesn't know that they're funny. So that was really cool. The CGI of both Rocket and Groot is really, really well done. I never thought about it twice that Groot wasn't really there. You know what I mean? It's just so, so well done. I love the character of Groot. I think that's really just such a funny addition. The Collector was cool. I think that Ronan was a cool villain to an extent. The whole dance off thing and all that, the distraction and all that, it feels so goofy, but at the same time, it really works with the tone of this movie, and it felt very graphic novel to me. Do you know what I mean? It felt very, that's what would have happened in a comic book, So, and I think this whole movie, if I can say one thing about it, more than any of the other movies so far, I definitely have thought about checking out the comics, but I'm always oh, it's so much, and then there's different universes and timelines, I'm not going to be able to do it. But for this one, this was the first one where I was maybe I'll seek out this comic book, because the whole thing with Rocket and everything, I just feel it would be so cool in graphic novel form. So that was really interesting. I loved some of the smaller roles. Like it's always good to see Glenn Close. It's always nice to see John C. Reilly. So that was all good. What else? Sorry, I'm trying to think. I think I'm okay. So full disclosure, if you've actually listened to the video this far, I just watched Age of Ultron before I'm recording this. So I just am having like serious Age of Ultron brain right now. And that movie really blew my mind now that I'm seeing everything in context. But we'll talk about that next week. But anyway, that's why I'm like kind of struggling with things to say about this movie. But yeah, I mean, none of the comedy felt super forced. Like I still thought all those like funny bits were still really funny. Oh, and the other thing about this movie that like I had totally forgotten about, and it's like such a stupid little thing, but I think it's like so Yondu, Michael Rooker's character, he's a cool character. I like him in general, but his like whistling, the arrows that he whistles and then they like move around, that might be one of my favorite weapons that I've like ever seen in a movie. I think that is so cool. It's very, I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan, so it's very Mandalorian to me. I don't know. It's just like I can't get enough of that. So seeing this movie again, I was like, oh, those are cool. I like those a lot. So, it's a silly thing to stand out, but it really, really did stand out. And I'm collecting the knowledge of the Infinity Stones as we go, because I do know that is going to be a thing moving forward, right? It's funny, like the amount of context that I have is like still so small, but it's like slowly getting bigger and bigger. So I'm trying to like watch out for little details and stuff. I'm really excited because once I've moved through all the films, I'm going to listen to the Binge Mode podcast because they did an episode for like every Marvel film, but I haven't wanted to listen to it yet because they sometimes will reference stuff that happens in the future beyond the movie they're talking about. So I'm going to wait, but then as soon as I'm done, that's the first thing I'm going to do is listen to that. And then also there's a YouTube channel, New Rockstars. I'll link them in the description. But they do a lot of like the Easter eggs and movie breakdowns, but I haven't wanted to watch them because they will move into the future. So that's the other thing I'm going to do once I've watched Endgame is I'm going to go through and watch all the Easter egg videos. So very excited about that, especially like, as I've been seeing everything in context, it's like, it's so cool. So anyway, also in this movie, the Stan Lee cameo was him like talking up a lady on a bridge, like from a distance. They see him in like a scope. And the post credits, I think there was just the one, and it was Howard the Duck, which I guess is just like a goofy 80s reference, right? Sort of, basically. Yeah, that was funny, but it wasn't really like, didn't really have anything to do with plot or anything like that. So what else in this movie? Thanos did appear in this movie, so I'm slowly learning more about this guy. And I think we're in the flip through now, right? Yeah, so I did that one page on the left, which is just like my first general thoughts. Basically what I said about the music being a character. Also for a fun tidbit, this came out in August of 2014, and I was on a cross-country road trip when this movie came out, so I saw it in Boulder, Colorado, and we had stayed an extra night because, well, it's a long story, but I thought there was something wrong with my car. There wasn't, so, but we stayed an extra night and we saw Guardians of the Galaxy, so that's just a fun memory I have attached. So I wrote a little bit about the additional characters there on the left. You can pause to read if you'd like. And there's my collage page on the right for this movie. I just wanted the 5 Guardian gang, and then I put the "We Are Groot" quote because that part was, it still hit my heart in the right place, because there's nothing like sacrificing yourself for your friends. So that's Guardians, and we will be back next week with some Age of Ultron, and I gotta tell you, I'm gonna have a lot to say. See you then.